without being too harsh on ourselves, kind of make fun of ourselves. Like, if like anyone's great grandfather at age mid 20s ish, you could teleport them here and be like, "Hey, start a business now." They'd be like, "Are you fucking kidding me? You guys sit around wondering what to do? Like, there's so much with social media, right? Like, it's it's too easy.
I had to knock on doors.
Yeah,
I had
exactly,
to fucking
bro.
pick up the phone and call through the yellow pages and
pump the well every day.
Anybody who made it back then,
milk the cow.
Yeah, anybody who made it back then, if our generation or even the next generation, you know, God help them, in the next generation, if people back then had access to what we have access to, like, they would kill it. Like, I know, like, there's stuff that I have to work on, and a lot of that has to do with laziness and procrastination and shit like that. But it's because I didn't have to go milk the cows at 5 a.m. and you know, like, I didn't have to do that. So it's like, I know because of those things I'm lazy at times, right? But I also know my purpose and what I want to achieve and stuff. So because of that, I'm constantly pushing myself for that. But it's if those people, if we were to teleport, our great grandfathers here, they would be upset, man. They would be like, so.
You mean I have to push buttons and make money?
We went through a lot to get here, it's I also sometimes when people do when they do have like deep roots, like they know their ancestors and stuff, I feel like they always have like a deeper like strength, like The Rock calls it the mana, right? Like the feeling, because your ancestors, where they kind of came from, the struggles they had, like when you know all that stuff, it almost makes you tougher, in my opinion, right? I don't have that, but I'm just speaking from the perspective of like people who I do come across, or who are like deeply rooted in their Italian culture, or deeply rooted in like their wherever they're from or whatever, right? It's like, I think they have like that deep sense of like, I gotta work, I gotta hustle. That's why like immigrant parents, right? Like when they come here, they like, it's funny for me to say this, but me being on social and me being on all that, I still feel like my parents work harder than me, right? Just because they have to, it's in them, it's kind of almost in them, right? So that's why when immigrant parents, they come here, they just have this like mentality of like, doesn't matter what, they don't live in that excuses mentality, like, I'll do it later, or I'll do this whenever, or doesn't need to get done. They just fucking go. I do, looking at it from that perspective, I do feel like that we have it very easy, like very fucking easy, and it's almost too easy. But hey, it's however you take it, right? Like, I think we can still make the best out of it. It's just we have to do the work. So
I think a lot of good things can come out of hardship.
It's a different it's almost like a fire, right? Like it's burning. Like people who have like really deep hardships, they're usually the ones that are always pushing, right? They're usually the ones that are like always trying to figure it out, because they know what that other end looks like, right? So
you come from war-torn wherever, the best country in the world, and
you come to Canada, or the best, people say best country is America. No, I'm kidding. Well, that's what they taught us, right? Like from a very young age, America is the greatest country. All right.
It's in all the pop culture, so
So but coming to Canada, like even for me, like coming from a different country, right? Like I've seen my parents work. It's just like it almost creates like in some cases, it almost creates a divide between the kids and the parents as well, because of the language barrier. Because I came at a younger age, right? So I started adapting the culture here,
right?
But I still had my parents that were from a different culture, so they didn't adapt, as fast as they, I wanted them to, or even now, right? Essentially, so just having that different culture and then that language barrier, right? It causes a lot of like. So the way I am today is because of my childhood and so forth, right? So that's why like I'm starting to realize that everybody has like different shit they deal with. So that creates their own opinions, and so now I'm starting to like not get mad at anybody that has their different opinions, just kind of let them be, because they just had a different childhood than me, and they went through different shit. I went through different shit. So I look at it from maybe a philosophical and like different perspective, and they look at it from their own philosophical different perspective. So it's
we everyone's kind of just a kid that grows up eventually, right? For better or for worse.
Pretty much,
right?
yeah.
So I don't think you can hold that against
people
one way or another.
Some people do stay just kids. They just don't. They don't grow up. They don't improve.
Sure.
They don't.
Yeah.
And as I'm getting older, those are that's the type of people I am trying to create that distance from. Even if they were in my life for a long time, but if I feel like that they're constantly not trying, if they're still just in that mindset where they're not trying to grow or not trying to just improve and be better, it's like sooner or later, I'm gonna the distance gonna get larger and larger, right? Like we can't stay on the same levels if you're not catching up to what I'm trying to do, or even to some people maybe they already learned and I'm not on their level anymore, or whatever the case is, right? But it's like I feel like you have to constantly push yourself in order to keep those relationships intact, because if you don't, then they will slowly just disappear because you're leveling up and other people are not. So
yeah. But there's also how old are you, by the way?
28.
28? Okay. Yeah, I feel like kind of around our age-ish is like, because I've heard the thing out there of like sometimes you have to cut people out no matter how painful, even close friends, family, whatever. And you're like, yeah, that sounds really hard to do, but that's for like other people, right? But then like as you get older, you maybe realize this is something that needs to be done, right?
You also run out of time, man. Like
that's exactly.
I mean, I'm guessing you guys are all single or like at least don't have kids and stuff, right?
Yep.
Yeah. No kids.
Yeah, no kids. All right. Not the ones we know about. No,
yeah, exactly.
Kid. But people, you get to a point where it's like you grow up, but the people around you, they don't respect your growth. That's something also that bothers me a lot. Is like people around you that kind of know you from a certain age or from a certain place, they start seeing you grow, but they don't want to accept it or respect it in a way, right? They just won't admit what you're doing is right or what you're doing it makes sense, just because it doesn't make sense to them. So they're always trying to pull you down as well. So you almost have to then start cutting them. And no matter what, it is painful. It sucks. It's like, man, I wish I could still talk to you like, or not talk to you the way we did, because that almost is part of the problem, because sometimes people don't grow and they still want to talk to you like you're, 18-year-old kid. And it's like, bro, like I'm 28 now. I'm doing different things. I'm hanging around different people. Like
I can't just smoke weed and play video games today.
Just can't keep doing that, right? Like the conversation needs to almost grow into like a different thing for it to still continue and build, right? And that's where relationship kind of cuts off. And you can't find time either once you get to a certain age. It's like when you don't have kids, you don't have anybody, then it's busy. But imagine having kids then, and then having your own family and stuff. It's like, how do you keep up with everybody like that you knew from? So you have to start making those choices and just keep your circle small.